Hey there everyone, welcome back. Today I'm taking a break from the Dollar Tree DIYs, but I'm still going to share with you some affordable Halloween DIYs for your home. If you're new here and you like home decor and DIYs on a budget, make sure that you stick around by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you never miss out on a new video. All right, let's get started. For this first DIY, I am going to do the Pottery Barn terracotta pumpkins that I've been seeing everybody do, and I really want some. So I am going to take these jack-o'-lantern buckets from Walmart that are $1.98, and I'm just going to go ahead and remove the handles from them. I'm going to use 3 of them. You can use how many ever you want for whatever you are going to be doing. I'm going to make a topiary, so I'm going to use 3. And I'm going to cut out the eyes, nose, and mouth for my jack-o'-lanterns. And I'm just using a box cutter for this. You want to be really careful when you do this, of course. But it makes it really easy because these jack-o'-lanterns buckets, they already have like an outline of the eyes, nose, and mouth. So you can kind of just follow the lines of that to cut them out. The mouth was the hardest to get out, but it worked out and it was no problem. So after I got all of those cut out, it was time to do the terracotta look. So I couldn't find the terracotta paint that everybody was using, the acrylic paint. And I actually already had this paint in my stash from a while back. It's just a sample paint. You can screenshot it if you want to use the same paint. I just used this sample and I just painted the outside and the inside of the bucket with 2 coats of paint on the outside. The inside I just did 1 coat of paint just to cover it up so that way you couldn't see the bright orange through the inside. And then to do the terracotta look, get that look to it, I am going to use baking soda. I've seen people use flour, but I'm going to use baking soda. So before the second coat completely dries, you want to rub the baking soda or flour all over your pumpkin. And I used my brush that still had a little bit of paint on it, but not a lot of paint. It was kind of like a dry brush technique. And I went over my pumpkin to kind of give it a little more texture. And then I also did the baking soda to give it that white look to make it look more like terracotta. And I think it turned out really good. I think they look, they have that terracotta high-end look to all 3 of them. So I did that and let them all dry. And now I'm going to come back with these battery operated LED fairy lights that I actually got off of Amazon. I got a pack of 20 of them for, I believe it was around $20. I'll link them down below in the description box. I just took some mounting tape from Dollar Tree and I put some on the back of the battery pack. And I placed that battery pack kind of in the front of the pumpkin underneath the mouth so you couldn't see it. And then I just stuffed the fairy lights into the pumpkin. So I did that for each one of them so that I could light it up. You could use also the battery operated tea lights from Dollar Tree, but I didn't have any of those on hand. Then the next thing I did was I just stacked my pumpkins all up together. And then I added a cute little witch's hat that I got from Walmart last year. And I think this terracotta pumpkin topiary turned out so adorable. I love how it looks. It could be inside, it could be outside. If you do put it outside, I would spray it with a clear matte coat of something so that way the paint doesn't peel. But that is it. I love how it turned out. So for this next DIY, I picked up one of these throws from Target. It's $10. I couldn't find any of their throws in the Target Bullseye playground bin area, but they do have all of these Halloween ones and some fall ones in their seasonal section, and for only $10, it's great to make a large fabric pumpkin with. So I laid out the blanket and then I used some stuffing from an old pillow that I had and I just plopped it down in the middle of the blanket, and then I gathered all of the corners of the blanket up to the middle and made sure I held on to all of that really tight and gathered all of that excess blanket up. And then I used some twine to tie a knot and keep all of that excess fabric up there at the top. And then I left the twine intact, and that excess fabric at the top is going to become my stem of my pumpkin. There's a little bit too much there, so what I did was I just used my scissors and I cut off some of that fabric that was sticking out beyond the smallest part of that fabric, if that makes sense. So everything was even. And then once that was done, I took the twine that was still attached and I just wrapped and wrapped and wrapped and wrapped and wrapped all the way up that excess fabric to make my stem. So after watching this video back while I'm editing it, I am looking at the pumpkin and thinking I might have been a better choice to use black yarn to wrap my stem so that way it would flow better with the look of the pumpkin. I think the twine looks fine, but I might go back and put some black yarn around the twine and rewrap it just to make it flow better. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments if you think I should rewrap it with the black yarn or if I should leave it as the twine. Anyways, once I finished wrapping the stem with the twine, I just cut the excess twine off and then I hot glued the twine to the rest of the twine to make it stay in place. And that was it. It was a really easy project to do to make this a large pumpkin for only $10. It can be used as a pillow. You can set it next to a chair on the floor as like a little pumpkin poof ottoman. And you can use any blanket that you find to make one. For this last DIY, it's super simple to make, it's quick, and it's cheap. All you need to do is find a branch in your backyard or a friend's house or the park, wherever you can get a branch at that looks like a witch's broom handle, because I'm going to be making a witch's broom out of all of these sticks. So I found this stick, thought it was perfect for a handle. Some of the bark was coming off of the stick when I ran my hand across it. So whatever I could get off without prying it off, I just took off so that way pieces weren't going to be falling off wherever I put this broom at in my house. When I was outside looking for my broom handle, I also collected a bunch of twigs and put them in a pile and brought those inside to make the bottom of my broom. So I just picked whichever side I wanted my handle to be the end of my broom. And then I took the straight pieces of twigs first and the ones that didn't have a lot of extra pieces on them also. And I put those at the bottom to cover up the bottom of the stick. I used hot glue to secure those on the bottom of the stick. And then I just kind of filled in the gaps as I was moving around the stick. I didn't have any rhyme or reason to this. I just hot glued them down so that way the top of the sticks were even around the top of the handle, and then that way it covered up the bottom of the handle as well. And once I got those sticks hot glued on, then I moved on to the ones that had more stuff coming off of them and hot glued a few of those on, and then I grabbed a bunch of the sticks and made sure that they were even at the top there, and I placed some on the top and around the bottom and kind of filled everything in. And then I took a piece of twine and I gathered all of that together and I tied a knot, and then I wrapped the twine around the top of that handle and the twigs so that way everything would stay in place and keep it all together. And then I used a little hot glue to secure the end of the twine. Then I came back to the bottom of all of the twigs, which is the bottom of my broom, and I just trimmed up all of those twigs to make them a little bit more even and kind of look a little bit better. And then I came back up to all of the top there and I gathered the twigs together and pushed everything together a little bit more and tied some more twine around to make a second set just to keep everything really tight together. Then I took some more of those fairy lights that I used before because I had a bunch of them, and I just wrapped them inside the broom and then up along the handle, hot glued the end to the end of the handle, and that was it. I had a really natural, organic looking witch's broom. I love how it turned out. It's so pretty. And you can put this outside, you can put this inside, whatever you would like to do with it. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Happy Halloween. Bye-bye.